Ahoy Rum Explorers. I'm Nia, I'm a rum enthusiast, and it is rum time. So today we're exploring Sagatiba Bella. It's a cachaça. It's a little bit controversial because a lot of people don't consider cachaça rum. I personally do, so I'm sure I'm gonna hear it in the comments. This is not a rum, but if you think about the way it's distilled and processed and everything, this is very, very similar to a rum agricole, meaning that it is sugarcane juice, then fermented and distilled to give this beautiful rum. So this one is a little bit different than the typical cachaça. This is actually gonna be aged, which is not typical for a cachaça. This one specifically is aged in Jim Beam barrels for 2 to 3 years. And as you can see, the coloring is a little bit lighter than any aged rum, but it's actually darker than most cachaça rums because most cachaça rums are white, or what I learned in Barbados, I love this, they call white rum transparent rum, which to me makes a lot more sense than white rum. So if you hear me talking about this moving forward, that's where I got it. In Barbados, we learned that they call white rum transparent rum, and I like that a lot better. So let's go ahead and pop this bad boy. Oh no, party foul, the cork broke. That sucks. That absolutely sucks. So this is what happens when these things happen. Basically, I'm gonna have to strain it. I try to grasp as much of the little pieces of cork in there, but I'm not happy about this at all, as you can imagine. So I had Phil translate what was on the bottle. It literally said nothing besides what we already know, which is it's an aged cachaça, and it's aged in barrels. It doesn't even say what barrels. Luckily, shout out to Nani, my friend, who brought me this bottle from Brazil, from Minas Gerais, where she's from, and I'm sure I butchered that name, so correct me in the comments down below if you think I said it wrong. But I'm really excited to try this. I have tried cachaça before. I know a lot of people don't consider this and aguardiente or firewater from Colombia, but they're considered cane spirits, but I do consider these types of spirits rum. So let's go ahead and try it. The coloring is quite unique. It's a very light. It even looks like kind of like a rose gold to me. As far as the aging, it's only 3 to 4 years, so I don't expect a lot from this rum. And this is a rum that's very distilled usually. So this rum specifically, after they grab the sugarcane juice, they put it in a pot still and distill it that way. And then they add this to Jim Beam barrels for 3 to 4 years. So it's gonna be quite a young aged rum. And there's a little bit of legs. Let's see, I'm just gonna kind of oxidize it a little bit and give it some air. I'm back to the Glencairn today because I wanted to really, I know this is gonna be a rum that's more on the simple side as far as the notes, but I'm expecting, because it's from sugarcane juice, I'm expecting kind of that funkiness and grassiness of the typical rum agricoles, but because it's aged and the way I know that cachaça is distilled multiple times, I think it'll be very light on the aromas. But let's move forward with the review. Okay, and I'm back. So just as a reminder, this is aged in Jim Beam casks, so basically ex-bourbon. So if you are a fan of Jim Beam, make sure you hit that subscribe button because I will have a distillery tour of when I went to Kentucky of Jim Beam. Honestly, that was the most ridiculous, I would call it like a bourbon compound. They had a gorgeous compound where they had a visitor center. They had tasting rooms in the visitor center. They had different rick houses. And the beautiful thing is that at Jim Beam, everything is painted black because of the begonia, which is something we're gonna talk a little bit further in that distillery tour. So make sure you subscribe so you can watch that when that comes out. Another cool thing is that they're the largest producer of bourbon. So I honestly expected a lot more flavor coming out of this, especially like maybe if they said if it was a couple months. I didn't expect the cachaça to take so much flavoring, but this one specific, it's a little bit muted. I expected the cask to give out more flavoring to the cachaça, especially because it's such a well balanced. I don't want to call it simple, but that's the easiest way I can explain it. It's a grassy, smooth, simple spirit. But with it being aged 2 to 3 years, I expected those Jim Beam casks to kind of like give it some kind of twist or funk. So as far as the rum type, this is gonna be an agricole. As far as the Gargano or it could be an aged rum, I personally don't consider this an aged because as you can see, the coloring is quite light, so I don't know if it's truly 2 to 3 years, but that's what they state. Not on the bottle, but as far as the reviews that I've looked and online doing my own research. As far as the Gargano rum type, it's gonna be a pure single agricole because of the same reason. It's a sugarcane juice, aged. And then, as far as the Royal Rum Society taste code, this is gonna be a 4BM. So 4 because it's between dry and sweet, and 1 to 9, I gave it a 4. Between bland and flavorful, I gave it a B. It's quite simple. There's not a lot. If you're expecting a rum agricole with this one, that's exactly what you're gonna get. As far as the harsh to smooth, I gave it an M, which is medium. From low to high, I gave it a medium. I do get a little bit of a hug. It is 38 alcohol by volume and 70 proof. So I did expect a little bit of burn, especially when it comes to it being a basically a cachaça type of rum. And as far as the whiskey exchange flavor camps, I gave this an herbaceous and grassy. On my notes, again, it was a very simple rum or cachaça. I only got notes of sugar cane and kind of like honeysuckle on my palate. A little bit of floral note to it and the back of my palate. Very simple, but I honestly expected the cask to give it a little bit more flavoring. So can I say I'm a little disappointed? Yes, I am a little bit, but I enjoy it. It's very good. I think it would definitely make some amazing caipirinhas, which, if you know, that's like a traditional drink you make with cachaça. And the caipirinha is actually quite simple, so if you do get your hands on a cachaça of this kind, it's very simple. It's the cachaça, a ton of sugar, and lime juice, and it's kind of muddled, but that's pretty much it for the cachaça. This is gonna be a short and sweet review. Again, thank you so much for watching. This is not treasure chest approved, even though I think it's a pretty good cachaça rum. Of those that I've had, I've only had a handful, so take that with a grain of salt. But this is not bad. I think I like it aged better. I think it's smoother. So if you have not tried cachaça, I do think that this is a great entry level cachaça because it's not very potent. It's actually smoothed out because of the aging. Now, let's do one little trick before I officially sign off here, because I've heard a lot of controversial things about this rum. As we learned our little trick, a lot of people said that they believe that this coloring is not from the aging, that it's additive. Now, you saw me dip my finger, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and rub away until I get hopefully no residue. Now, if you ever get any residue, that means the rum has been altered, which means there's sugar or coloring, which is not bad, but it's just, I like when companies disclose that so you can make your decision as an educated consumer. I absolutely love supporting small craft companies, but I do like it when they disclose it. Ooh, this is getting kind of sticky. Oh, this is making me nervous. Okay, there's a little bit of stickiness and residue, so I'm going to potentially assume that there is a little bit of additive, which makes me even sadder about this cachaça. Hold on, let me have Phil try it. I want a second opinion. I'll be right back. Okay, so Phil checked it out. He did say it doesn't feel sticky, but it does feel oily, which honestly, that's all I can offer you. It's not sticky, but I agree, it is kind of oily, so who knows? Hopefully, it's not a lie that they do age this 2 to 3 years, but you never know. That's a great trick, so keep that up your sleeve if you ever want to know if a rum has any additives. Again, thank you so much for watching. Make sure you hit that subscribe button so I can welcome you on board, and I look forward to the next rum. Cheers.